How's it going, everybody? Today we're going to be doing some more Nomad survival builds, but today we're actually just going to be going over one character and the choices for heritages and weapon skills and things like that. So first off, we're just going to start with the adventurer. This is what you have unlocked at the beginning of the game. Wow, okay, see, I'm pissed because it told me special ability and now it's saying weapon skill. But anyways, his weapon skill is the angle slash. It basically just does like a little L in the direction that you're facing. Once it hits level 20, it goes into 2 attacks, which is really nice. And then at level 40 is 3. And at level 40, you'll basically be doing damage around you in a circle. It's really, really nice. It keeps mobs off you. It definitely saves you some HP. And so it also has the lowest cost. So when you're going for adventure, things like SP regen is actually really strong because it takes such a low amount to cast. In regards to which heritage would be the best for the adventure, Nomad I think is going to be good for every single character. I don't think there's ever a bad time to have bonus rerolls. If you've seen any of my other videos, I'm constantly rerolling to get the abilities that I'm looking for, especially things like your EXP passive as well as your item pickup range. And you can also use these rerolls now on the chest, so having bonus rerolls is huge. If you don't care about the rerolls that much and you just more go into it like picking whatever you feel like, I would say Berserker is alright on the adventure. You can't get any HP back, so obviously if you take any damage, that's going to be a negative. The double damage helps only, I would say, for the beginning of the game. If mobs are getting close enough to you where your weapon skill is hitting them, specifically on the adventure, they're probably going to damage you. And, you know, it might not be that big of a deal if one thing hits you or two things hit you, right? But when you're playing the Berserker heritage, all of that stacks up over time. So you have to get through the whole game without healing. So I don't think the Berserker is very strong for this character, unless you're going to take a ton of weapon skills that have ranged abilities, but then that kind of defeats the purpose of playing adventure. Poxbringer, same kind of thing. I don't think it's as bad because you can heal, right? So this also doubles your damage, but it's applied as a dot, damage over time, over 6 seconds. So it's dealing double damage, but it takes a little bit to actually deal that damage. And when you're playing a melee character, Poxbringer, it doesn't really make a ton of sense because the mobs are still going to hit you. You can heal when you're playing Poxbringer, however, so if you really want to go for the double damage, this wouldn't be a bad choice. Voidwalker is probably my pick for the adventure because it reads leave a trail of void rifts which knock back struck enemies and your movement's less precise. So this makes it so much harder for you to actually get hit. So this meshes really well with the adventurer's weapon ability, which is just a melee attack around the character. So this will help you knock things into that. It'll also help you take less damage. Moving is less precise. Just imagine you're like drifting. Things don't move. You know, if you press down, it will go down. But if you press right after you press down, it's going to go at more of like a curve versus like just going to the right. It's not really that big of a deal, though. If you played Quickling, then Voidwalker's pretty simple. Summoner, I don't think Summoner's ever a bad choice, but I don't think it's really that impactful. It helps you out a lot in the beginning. Outside of that, I don't really think it's that strong. I used Summoner whenever I was doing any of the like no damage challenges or having to stand still challenges, because that helped it to where nothing was getting close enough. They just go after whatever mob is close by, so they do have pretty good boss damage, I will say. But other than that, I don't really think the Summoner is really that good of a choice for adventure. And then the Merchant. The Merchant is still something that I'm still playing around with. It reads, when leveling up, you only have one skill choice. So when you level up, in that shop, there's only going to be the top one. Double weapon skill amount and amount +1. So when I read double weapon skill amount, I'm not sure if that means you get 2 levels or if the amount from the weapon skill is doubled and then the amount is +1 also. it's a little confusing. And then at least one bonus relic guaranteed when opening a chest. So this is super strong. This means every time you're going to open a chest, you get one choice, and then you're guaranteed a bonus roll. This is almost worth not having the other choices in the store. I feel like Merchant is very inconsistent. Sometimes it can go really well. Sometimes it might suck. Just because you're not able to get what you're looking for. So, specifically for the adventure, I don't think the Merchant is that good. Mostly because I feel like the adventure does rely a lot on other weapon skills, specifically ranged ones, so that you don't really get hit as often as you would. Because as good as your weapon skill is, you don't really do that like insane of damage. It's nothing crazy. So when it comes to bosses, if you're not getting the right weapon skills and the right passives, it might be very, very difficult. So I'm just going to go into the game for a second. We'll do double experience mode too, so that we can get some like extra levels and stuff, because this isn't really about finishing everything. But yeah, as you can see, like, you're kind of like drifting, which isn't like super annoying or anything like that, but it's definitely interesting. Things that I would look for when you're playing adventure, like I was saying earlier, you want something that will be ranged and able to kill the boss. I think Fireball and Magic Missile are two of the best abilities for killing bosses. And that is because they are target the closest mob to you. That's huge. You want to be able to make sure you're always hitting the boss, and Fireball and Magic Missile are two of the abilities that you can guarantee are actually hitting the boss. Other weapon skills don't have any type of targeting like that. Obviously, if you're going like, let's say, Purifying Circle or Infernal Ray or, you know, anything that's a big AoE, obviously you can do your best to aim it, but it's not super consistent. For the adventure weapon skill in general, weapon skill size is going to be very important. It directly impacts it. It's really, really strong. You obviously want to be able to hit more things. Movement speed is also very good. Wow, it's been so long since I played Drain Marsh, I forget how spread out the mobs are. Another weapon ability I would recommend is Icicle Barrage, specifically on the adventure. And the reason being, your weapon skill itself is already direction based. So since it's direction based, you're going to be trying to aim anyways, at least for the first 20 levels. So having an ability like Icicle Barrage that is, you know, directional, makes it easier for you to kill bosses. It also does very, very good boss damage. Single target damage specifically. But yeah, I would focus on getting an ability like that so you can make sure you kill the bosses, and then just getting weapon skill size. The rest you can kind of fill in however you want. SP regen is obviously the most important thing for this build, because SP regen, you saw earlier, it only takes 100 SP to cast the ability. So as you can see, it's basically casting it infinitely. Can it go faster? Yes, but not really that big of a deal. It's like the last thing I want to show you guys is what happens at level 20. So I'm trying to get there as fast as possible. Spectral Sword is pretty good on Adventure too. You definitely get usage out of it. I should just do Crossroads next time this is done. Alright, so now at level 20 you get that second swing, and that second swing basically makes it to where you don't have to worry too much about things coming behind you or anything like that. It makes this build significantly less stressful. So that's why I think the adventure is so strong, is specifically for clearing out normal mobs. Now when it comes to bosses and killing these crystal chests, you know, it's not like significantly strong or anything like that. It doesn't kill them super fast. I mean, it wasn't slow like you could see, but it's definitely not the most insane thing in the world. I'll wait till the first boss so you can see kind of why I picked up Fireball. Because if you can see the damage that the sword's doing, it's only really hitting for 20. 20 is not a lot. Sometimes it hits for like 88. I'm not sure if there's maybe, you know, depending on where you get hit, it deals more damage. But for the most part, it looks like it's hitting for about 27. So that's really just not that much damage, especially later on in the game. For right now, it's very strong. The adventure is a very good early on weapon skill, but as you go on, I definitely think it struggles. So you're really depending more on your weapon skills than you are your ability, or really anything specifically to do with adventure. Adventure is not what gets you through like the last couple of minutes in the game. It's more your weapon skills, which is fine. But yeah, wow, you see how quick Fireball killed that? That was insane. Fireball, too good. We'll go ahead and I'll just really quickly get to level 40. It's nice doing this in double XP. Granted, what cracks me up, I messed up doing this on Dry Marsh. At 4 minutes, I'm level 30 for the most part on the Crossroads. So you could see how, I don't want to say bad, but how different leveling is on this map in comparison to Crossroads. If you're ever having to do the But Why challenge, the achievement for level 77, 100% do it on the Crossroads. Because even with double XP, I'm so far behind where I normally would be on Crossroads. But yeah, as you can see, with only SP to level 4, it's already just swinging like a madman. So that's why SP regen is so important on the adventure. The last thing I would say, not that it's really required, but something that I think is a very strong skill that's pretty much good on every single character on every map at all times. It's 100% going to be Ascension. Okay, and then this is what it looks like when you hit level 40. So now you have 3. It might not look like there's an additional swing, but there is an additional swing. So you're just doing increased damage. Definitely increased damage. So we'll just go ahead and quit here. Yeah, so the adventure, I think, is a very strong class in the beginning of the game. I don't think that it scales very well. So when you're playing the adventure, you need to realize that your weapon skill isn't going to be what kind of like carries you through the end game. You want to make sure that you're setting yourself up to be able to kill those last bosses and to clear out those mobs with high HP, especially when the slime boss spawns. That's the second boss on the map. They have an insanely high HP. The slime mobs that spawn with the boss also have an insanely high HP. And if you're going adventure, your weapon skill is not really going to do it there. So you want to make sure you have something like Chain Light Shock, Fireball, Magic Missile, Icicle Barrage. These are all great skills for clearing those things out. And then if you have any questions on the skills in general, go ahead and watch all my videos. I've made a video for every single weapon skill. So definitely go check those out if you have any questions on exactly what those skills do. But yeah, so adventure, the class in itself, not the strongest in the world. You can pretty much do what you do on adventure with any other class because it's really more about what weapon skills you pick up. So adventure, I would say, let's see, we'll do a 10 scale. I'm going to put the adventure at a 4 just because I don't really think the class itself is that impactful. And that's why it's the first class you get. So as you move along, you'll get those extra classes, and you'll definitely have a lot of fun with those. So if you like the video, let me know down below. I will be making one for every single class, so hopefully we'll get to that sometime this week. And as always, thank you so much. I will see you on the next one.